little bit before 6 in the morning on the 31st of May. It rained last night. There was a 24% chance of rain earlier. Let's see how much we get. Oh yeah. Great. That's a 35-gallon trash can, or 40, I think. And they'll equalize, so that should be just about full on that one. There's a few spots here that I dug holes because I needed dirt somewhere else. That either filled up directly or that's my overflow put water into here. This is the first time I've seen significant water in this hole. It works! So that will not stay very long. So what I am going to do, bring out a sump pump, pump this into the black tank. That way it won't sink in. Then it can settle. Where this came from is there's this little line here, right? When we do get a decent amount of water, it'll run, this is kind of a creek line here, and I used to get water running across. The bus used to be there. So I dug this little trench all the way along to keep it from coming across as much, all right? Well, then I dug this as a test hole, and I just cut a little channel here. This is the first time it's worked. That's great. That could be 300 gallons of water. Then it can sit for a few days, let it settle. I'll throw a chlorine puck in there, kind of kill it. Then I'll pump it back to the main tank. Probably won't mess with this as much. I have done this before, though. You come up with a couple of buckets and your shovel, and you can just scoop up water. If you need the water, you try to get it as quick as you can, because that will sink in. So we must have got probably about an inch of rain in an hour for it to have that much on the ground. Oh, wow. I gotta take advantage of this. This worked. Oh my goodness. I dug this earlier. A few months ago, I figured, well, you know, because this is the creek bed. I've had water running across the road here, right? So, doesn't happen very often, but I thought, well, okay. What I can do, I probably have enough hose, this was the idea, that I can bring I'll have to figure out how to get extension cords. Well, I can run my generator down to here, I guess. Pump from here back to the black tank. Oh man, that's awesome. That could be a few hundred gallons of water. And I don't care if it's dirty, because if you just let it sit for a while, the dirt falls out. It'll be fairly clean. I mean, it's not drinkable necessarily, but it is way easier to filter water than it is to haul water. The stuff in the trash cans is going to be clean and nearly full. Now what we'll do, we'll start up here. The stuff on this side is cleanest. So I'll pump these two into drinking water. Yeah, that is right full. That probably overflowed. A little bit down the side. 30 gallons, 60 gallons, right? Okay, so I got 100 gallons of drinking water, so I'm going to fill that up first. Once that's full, everything will go in the main tank. Yeah, this one is completely full. I need a bigger... This little 8-foot by 8-foot roof filled up a 5-gallon bucket. You guys do the math. Wow, I didn't think it rained that much. This is great. And the solar panels are nice and clean, so that's good. This was the kind of a rain that I needed because it was fairly hard. That should clean the roof really well. Yeah, these are almost full. So like, yeah, you can see, I don't know if it'll show up or not, but that's pretty clear, but it's not really clean. But the two on the south side over there, off of the metal roof, will be really clean. That is right full. Okay, this is my overflow. It's up to the overflow, so it was taking some water from here to the black, that open tank down there. So it kept these from overflowing. Hey, it worked. Huh. The sink even got some water. I haven't really talked about this very much. I decided I was going to make a concrete sink. These are surprisingly heavy. I used a tote for the mold. It doesn't hold water very long, so I kind of I tried it as an experiment, and I didn't have time to really mess with it. So then I didn't. That overflowed. It's about right full. Cool. Yeah, these are 35, I think these are 40, so that's 80 gallons right there. Okay, I know what I'm doing first thing this morning. I'll eat breakfast later. When I get water, you pump it right away. You don't mess around. Because if it rains again, you don't have your tanks all the way full, right? If I was thinking it was going to rain a lot, I've got a valve. Oh man, it's underneath all that other stuff now. There's a valve that I can open and it'll dump a lot of water out of these. And since they all equalize, I could bring them down to about half each. So if it was going to keep raining, I'd open the valve and just start dumping water. It'll go into that black tank, right? Okay, that's a pretty good day. Yeah, 6 o'clock now. Oh, my alarm's about to go off. Commence operation rainwater pumping thing. Go. Okay, about 6 o'clock in the morning. It's looking pretty quick, actually. There's a 1-inch black polyflex pipe that interconnects all of these trash cans. These are the cleanest ones, so this is going... Drinking water is right inside of here. You can see the hose going there. Okay, that's the good part. These two will equalize, so as I'm pumping here, that'll pump faster, but it is already coming down. It's gone down about 3 inches on this one already. If I had a sideways rain like out here, quite often when it does rain, the wind blows really hard. I was seeing one trash can overflowing. The other trash can only had 3 inches of water in it. So that's why I did this. I thought, well, okay. This way, especially if it's a slow rain, it'll have time to equalize. If it's a really fast rain, even if all of the south cans are overflowing and the north cans don't have anything, eventually they would all equalize, so you'd have them about half full, so that 2 hours later when it rained again, they'd all have half capacity, so they could fill up again. But it is nice, like today, they're all basically full, so we didn't have very much overflow. And because these were full, and the ones in the middle have the equalizer, there's only that one can that has the overflow. If that started overflowing, it probably kept these from going up much higher. That was the idea, so that seemed like it worked. That's down to half already. And this one is about to here. Okay, so that's a little faster. If I was running a 2-inch off of here, this would go a lot quicker. I've got an adapter, I can run my 2-inch off of that. In the last 2 years, we didn't get very many big rains. When I was all excited about building domes, this was going to be one dome, so I had scraped it a little bit. Yeah, we got water in here. This doesn't happen very often. I don't know how much that is. It's probably not more than a few inches, but this is 16 feet across. One time when everybody got excited about tarps, I did actually lay some tarps. I laid one tarp in this circle. Well, it was kind of a square tarp, but I laid it here because it was more or less flat. And then this berm, I was cutting a trench that was going to pull water from here into here. But what I realized is this thing doesn't hold water. This will soak in eventually. In fact, that's why this row of bushes right around here is so green. If it ever does rain, this pulls the water into the ground pretty quickly. And then all of these bushes have the deeper roots. So you have this ring of bushes that's doing really well around this hole, right? And then further out, you can see the color difference. These are much greener, and then you get out 20 feet and it doesn't really affect it as much. So if you dig a bunch of holes, they'll catch water, and then all of a sudden your bushes get better. When your bushes get better, your wildlife gets better, and it all just kind of works out. It's kind of funny how that works. Okay, that's getting down there. You can see where the wet line is. It's gone down a foot here. Oh, I bumped that and it's got water. There's probably water up in here still too. Cool. I saw some bubbles come up there, so that's starting to flow back now. Which, you know, kind of makes sense, but to actually see the bubbles come up is kind of cool. We're up to about 130. We were at 100 gallons, so I already got 30 gallons in, because I got all of that in plus half of this already. Okay, this is starting to bubble from the other side, so it's getting dirtier now. So I'm going to move the hose at the tank. I'll come back later with the shop vac and get the last little bit out. I'll be pumping here and it'll be coming from the other side still, right? It's a little bit murky, but it'll settle out. Yeah, we're almost up to 150. Here's 150. So we were at 100. So we got about 40 gallons more drinking water. That's awesome. Hey, sunrise. That's a beautiful shot. This might seem cliche, but in the desert, water is gold or something. When I sold the truck, that was not an easy decision, but keeping the insurance on the truck plus the paying for my water bill, I kind of thought this would work out. I wasn't really sure, and I got it down pretty close. A couple weeks ago, my neighbor brought me 350 gallons of water, which was very nice. Much appreciated. It was close, right? But I had not at that point actually ran out, and I could have started using more drinking water, but you don't want to waste your drinking water in showers, right? So always want to be careful looking in here. I got my water pump in there, which I'm really not using very much. It also has a plug-in out here, which is nice. Take a while to fill this up. It's 1,500 gallons, but if I fill up all of my trash cans like I did today, it's about 180 gallons. All right. So if I did that 7 times, would be 200 gallons. 200 times 7 is 1,400. Yeah, 7 or 8 times we could fill this up. That would be all right. And I don't know if it shows up or not. It might. Yeah, there we go. You can see how dirty the bottom is, right? When the dirt gets in there, eventually, if it sits still for a while, the dirt just falls out the bottom and the rest of the water is pretty clean. I've always thought about doing something like a pool sweep, you know, so you could go in with like a shop vac and suck up all the dirt off the bottom and then recirculate the water back in through a filter. This may not seem too exciting, but trust me, it is. Yeah, a lot of people looked at me funny when I said I was going to switch to rainwater. What? I think it shows up, here's the water level where it was, and it's already down to here, and that's from sucking the other side down, so they're going down together. I'm always looking when I'm pumping. Hopefully there's no dead mice in here. Usually the dead mouse will float up to the top, so you can scoop them out. During the rainy season, I try to remember about once a week I'll go around and check the cans, because I regularly have mice get in here. I think what happens is they're up on the roof and then they come sliding down the downspout. Because I've seen them, like, very seldom do you see a live mouse. They're always dead, right? And it's like, they probably weren't in there that long that they just died, but I think they just died on impact when they come sliding out the chute. There's nothing worse than having a dead, decomposing mouse and maggots in your water supply. So try to clean that out as quick as you can. Putting screens over probably the top of the downspouts. I was really concerned. I didn't want to have anything that slowed the water down, because when it rains hard here, I'm worried that I would overflow my gutters. I would rather have it all, everything come down into here so that these fill up, and then I can worry about filtering stuff later. Because I get a chance to look at it before I put it in the tank. If there's a dead mouse, I just won't pump that one into the tank, right? Or like now, these ones are pretty clean. The ones on the other side were very clean. So I'm like, let me put the cleanest water for drinking water. Everything else can go into the main tank. A while back, the roof on the house was so dirty, the asphalt shingles really held, I don't know, I think they were, it looked like they were actually shedding some of the asphalt into the water. You know, it's, you don't really think about when you buy them. So that water was just awful looking. So I didn't even put it in the main tank. That's what I use for doing laundry. I'm like, oh, there's no sense putting that into, you know, into my shower water kind of thing. Camera just stopped at the end of the first 30-minute clip. Oh, look at that shot. Get them all at the same time. That's pretty cool. Okay, towards the end it definitely was sending water from this side over, because I kept refilling as I was sitting there. So I'm like, all right, let's get the pump over here. I wasn't seeing the water line at first, but now I am. So it definitely, you know, this was a lot fuller. It was way up to here. So we dropped a foot pulling it to the other side. So I got to get this thing down low enough so it quits sending water over there. Yeah. There's a bunch of spider webs in this one. I think this is the one I saw the black widow in. There's another puddle I'm going to leave alone. This I had dug originally. I think I was going to use it for water catching, but you see the pipe right there? That's the drain from the house and the bus. When I did laundry before I started recycling my laundry water, I would just let the water run out to here, and within a day it was completely gone. And all of these bushes just thrived. Between the water itself and then the laundry detergent has phosphates in it, which is also in fertilizer, so didn't seem to be hurting anything. I was kind of curious if it was going to be a problem, and it was like, oh, everything just thrived when I was doing that. So anyway, so this is going to have laundry residue, so I don't want to use that, so I'll just leave this one alone. But kind of cool to see that it filled up. So yeah, this whole section right through here is a low point. It's, you know, I call it a creek. It's not much of a creek, but the water does, because like right there you can see it's higher and it comes down to here. The house is closer to that than it should be. A project that would be a good thing to do if this turns out to be a wet year would be, I've got parts of a berm here already that would hopefully push the water away from the house. So what I was thinking is take that, dig it, and berm. You know, if I had 2 foot of berm and a 2 foot deep trench, it would tend to go to the lowest point first. And it's just got to miss the house. So that's on the list. It's a big list. Yeah, there's a lot of spider web in that one. You can just see the pump there. I raised that trash can up on top of a little pedestal. I made a box out of some 2x6s and then stacked it a little bit. So I lifted that one probably, well, between 6 inches up there, and this one dug down at least 6 inches, right, to kind of get them to level better. Or else what was going to happen, or what was happening, is this one would have, you know, this much of space on the top, and the other one was overflowing. Yeah, somewhere around 150 gallons out of last night rain. 150 to 180. 40 gallons in drinking water. So we got at least 100 gallons in the main tank. That's pretty cool, because it's pushing water back up again. Yeah, there's not much left. It's almost at the point it's not gonna, you can see the pickup there. It'll have a few inches of water below it still. That last little bit done. That'll get used for the bees probably. Right in there. I put the rocks there. There's an ant hill that's been there before I built the house, so I was always trying to be a good neighbor and not wipe them out. Every now and then I'd drag a hose or a cord right across and knock a bunch of dirt down their holes, so try to be careful. Right there. Yeah, right there. So 8 inches is 200 gallons. Let me get my tape measure. I got marks on there, but the sun faded them. I didn't measure it when I started today. I'll just say that. So right here, 18 inches. So I would say 400 gallons. Okay. That means that my 1,500 gallon tank is about a quarter full. Oh, and the bees made out pretty good too. There's their dish. They got some free rainwater. Awesome. And the panels look nice and clean. We got enough rain to wash the panels, get the ground wet so the wind didn't blow the dust up, because usually what happens, the panels will get wet from the little bit of rain, then the wind blows, and all the dust sticks to the wet panels and they just get trashed.
Oh yeah, it's already going down. You can see a water line. Yeah, it's gone down a few inches, so don't want to waste any time here. I could use the garden hose, but the garden hose is a little bit slower. And I'm not sure, I haven't tried this yet, but I think if I can get from here to there with 2-inch, it'll be faster. This will screw onto here. A good idea for later, I've got all these scraps left over. If I could put fittings on them, I want this to stand up and not tip over. And that'll keep it off the bottom, so I don't suck as much dirt, hopefully. Yeah, that's not perfect. I'm going to say this end probably had about 50 gallons out of the overflow from last night. So just kind of keep that in mind. That's still better than a garden hose would be, so good enough, right? Anyway, this doesn't look very good now, but if we leave it for a few days, and this is the thing, if it's in here, we'll get some evaporation, but it won't sink in. In the hole, in a couple hours, it'll be gone. And if you notice, there's no generator running. That part's pretty good. Okay, there's definitely some room for improvement on this end, but... Oh yeah, you can see how much we've come down already, right? Because it was way up to that step, and this whole flat is down. This was just a test. I dug it, and then the next year we didn't get any rain. I mean, I think I pulled 50 gallons out of here one time, and that was it, you know. Make sure it's pulling from the deepest part, so I'm not pulling the sludge off the bottom. You can see the pump down there already. When I was hauling water from town, it would end up taking you about 2 hours altogether to go get 200 gallons of water. So I always remember that when I'm doing this. It's like, oh, this is free. Yeah, it's taking me time, but going for water was taking time also. I'm up to almost 200 gallons in that black tank. Heck yeah. 200 gallons out of this hole is more than I had in all the trash cans. That's reference, okay? That would be a whole trip to town right there. It's dirty, but it'll settle. So now the next step. Okay, maybe we'll set this to circus music later. So I've got two 1-inch flex pipes with DC pumps on them, so I can run a battery pack to those. I've got enough extension cord, I think, to reach the big puddle. I'll get the pump into the puddle, lay out the blue hose, put a trash can on the end of that. Run it until the trash can is full, stop it. then turn on one of the DC pumps and pump from that trash can to the next trash can. I don't want to use this nice green hose if I can help it, because that's the cleanest hose I've got. So I don't want to pump dirty, muddy water through it. It's not, because I'm also using this for pumping drinkable water into the main tank. So. Okay, side note, when I built the solar trailer with a battery pack on it, I could have an inverter on that, roll the trailer out to that end. I'd still need hose, but I wouldn't need cord. That could make a difference. So the bigger can is 35 and I've got two 20s. Thanks to David for the trash cans. If you want them back, I'll have to wash them. Right there. So I'm running. I pan back to here, I bet that didn't go down at all. Okay, now we set up the next stage. Just keep enough water in here so I don't knock it over, hopefully. This one is battery powered. Going through this 1-inch hose, it blows water pretty good actually. It's faster than clamp on it, but I have to pull it out again. Stay. Transfer just enough water to put some weight into that. It doesn't tip over. Okay, that's good. One of these packs should pump about 150 gallons of water from what I've seen lately. This in monsoon season, I was using these. I've got 3 of them. I put one on each side and could have them all running back to the main tank, so I just walk around and change battery packs once in a while. Okay, the sequence will be, once I get the other 2 pumps set up, they're equal pumps, so it should fill and empty the trash can about as fast as the next one. Probably accounting for vertical. So what I should be able to do is once I get it started, I can be down at the bottom turning the electric AC powered the big pump on and off to keep from overfilling my trash can down there. So what we got here, of all the things I have, I do not have any splice fittings for these black poly hoses. Yeah, go figure, right? But I had some 1-inch, several hundred feet of it, and then I've got a little bit of 3/4 inch left. But the 3/4 fits into the 1-inch. And a little bit of electrical tape. This works because it's not a pressure application, it's just pumping water. It's not building pressure up. I'm never going to have a valve on the other side of that, right? So it's just kind of pump. So that'll slow down the leak. It's not perfect, it's good enough. So keep. First I want to fill this up, and I've got enough now that I tied that on there. Get out of the bush. When I'm doing this, I'm constantly running back and forth and checking to make sure I'm not pumping water out on the ground, because that's really okay. So I'm going to use one of the clamps. Make sure this stays in here. That one's overfilling. This one is leaking, so it's not pumping as fast as it should. Oh yeah. That might be the problem. This way. Might be a problem. The way I'm looking at this, something that doesn't get used very often, it may not be worth the effort it would take to do it the right way. I mean, that's kind of loser talk, but this might get used 4 times a year. This one's going down, so it must be siphoning down to the other one. That's the thing, I gotta really watch my elevation here. Oh, there's the other leak I gotta fix. I just saw that. Okay, one end completely set, and then the other end. It ain't perfect, but electrical tape actually works pretty good for this kind of thing. That looks better. 100% improvement. For anybody curious, there was a little bit of method to this. Oh, it might be sucking air. I put that so high so that it wouldn't back siphon back down the hill again. So when it gets full and I shut the pump off, it won't try to suck the water back out again. Yeah, that's working. Okay, I'm gonna go start the other end up. I'll just let this one run for a while. Okay, it's working. Yeah, we're losing some efficiency, but whatever. I mean, I'm looking at this right now. This is parts that I have on hand that were all bought for other things. Most of the 1-inch black pipe was actually bought for the water heater experiment. So I had like 400 feet of it. Unfortunately, it's not in one piece. You know, the best I could do is 100 foot. All the pumps I already have. Yeah, as it works out, This one is slower than the one below it, and so the bottom one, the 2-inch, that obviously makes sense. The 2-inch is faster, and this one just isn't as fast because it's got a lift. This one is lifting higher, plus it's going through a section of 3/4 inch hose, so that slows it down. So the top pump will just have running continuously, and I'll cycle these ones on and off to keep them full. When I dug this hole, this side is the deepest, and then I did kind of a shallower, like the shallow end and the deep end of a pool. So it's not all consistent depth, okay? But we couldn't see that shelf before. So we've pulled that down quite a bit. And it still beats driving in town. Of course, the water in town is cleaner, but... Okay. I'm gonna say that's full. It has not yet overflowed, but it's pretty close. I'm gonna undo the splice here and push this to there, which will reach. Parts of this I kind of lined in concrete, mostly as an experiment, and then for the next year I did this the same time I was building the steps for the house. So when I had leftover concrete, I'd come here, dump it in, and kind of smooth it out. That should help slow it down as far as the water seeping through. Some of it's got cracks in it, but whatever, right? It's better than nothing. That's all I got, so that's good. So we're going to fill this up as much as we can, and then that's as far as we're going to go. The main, you know, the big 300 gallon, that's 350, I think. That's full. Because this main part of the hole is roughly about the size of the black tank, so 300 gallons. And then with the next foot up and the extended surface, I figured 500 gallons. I don't know. It's not rocket science or anything. It's not flat against the bottom, so it's not going to suck up as much dirt, hopefully. I think I'm going to stop there. I don't really need any more because the tank on the top is going to get full. So let's stop that. I didn't really point it out before. This is just a reminder for myself for later. I made a berm here. Yeah, right there. I'm having trouble seeing the viewfinder. And I didn't make a very good berm. So you can see the water flowed across here. That's a fresh flow. And it also flowed across there. So if we had dug a deeper hole, we could have caught more. It's just, I don't really need that right now because I don't want to pump this water into the main tank, so I don't have anywhere else to store it. First year I was out here, I dug a test hole because I was starting to see where the water was flowing. It more or less flows this way, right? So I cut some channels, aimed and redirected the water to a center point. Yeah, it's got water in it. So this was kind of the first experiment. You can see the run here. Filled that up. I dug that in maybe a day or two. Just a quick dig. It's not very deep in the middle. There's a lizard on the side. All right. But that won't hold water for more than a few hours. It'll just soak in. But again, the same as what I was saying before. After the rain, all of these bushes within the first 20 feet, you'll see them just perk up. So they're all getting water from this. So, yeah, anyway, so that kind of thing does work. It's just a matter of, well, for two things. If I just wanted to make for the environment, that makes sense. If I, every so often, if I just dug a little hole like that, you would see a little oasis form. You know, I already proved it with this one. If I want it for me, I'd have to probably pour concrete or something to line the hole to make it, you know, stay longer. Okay, I just wanted to get that one on camera because I had not looked this morning. Using what I had, I wasn't sure if I could reach that hole, or you know, how hard would it be. Oh yeah, this is almost full again. So when this was full last time, I think I figured about 200 gallons based on how much went into there. So I've got 300 gallons. So I've got 300 gallons in the black tank plus another maybe 200 here. If this evaporates or soaks in, well, it was free water anyway. I just want to get that as a last shot. You couldn't put in another 10 gallons of water in there, it would go over the side. I'd say we about filled it up. Cool. Plus all my trash cans on the house are empty. So we could catch another 150 gallons of rainwater there. Pretty cool. All right. Okay, for my own record keeping, if nothing else, so it's a little bit, about quarter after 10, 10:18, 31st. I got up before 6 o'clock and I saw the sunrise while I was pumping water already. So, say 4 hours, right? I got everything picked up. So I just want to get a shot of this. Oh, great big lizard under the bush there. I don't know if he'll show up or not. That's the big guy. I used to never see those around the house. They'd always stay quite a ways away. Okay, this thing full to the point of nearly overflowing. That little floater there is a peanut butter jar with a chlorine tablet. I'm going to let this sit for a few days if I can. It will eventually settle out, but the more dirt that stays in here, the better before I put it in the tank. And I want to look at this again so I can kind of have a reference of how full it was. So the step is sticking up, but there's water up into the shelf here. All right. I just kind of want to know how fast will this go down, and can it, the longer it sits here, the more dirt will fall out here before I even get to the big one, right? Yeah, there's puddles in this trench here, so we definitely had running water to here. So I had to divert here and in, but some of the other water still was running here, probably coming out of the creek to there. And we had no water run across that I can see. It was just whatever sits in the puddles, right? It used to be, when the bus was parked down here, I'd have water just running across here. I probably had a puddle there that dried up already. And then this one here is a trench that I dug to try to pull it past the bus so it wouldn't go that way. All right. So yeah, these have already half dried up. So 10 o'clock, 4 hours after I started. Oh yeah, this is cool. You can see the water runs in the sand here. Looks like fish scales or something. So that was, I have not had running water here for a year or two. That was a pretty good rain last night. Ground, oh wow. I gotta take advantage of this. This worked. Oh my goodness. Yeah, there's not much left in there, considering it was all the way around. Cool. This is a good size. There's no real sense in making it any bigger because I don't have anywhere else to put the water, right? Unless I was ready to pump dirty water into a tank, and I really don't want to. So I probably spent 3 days, not continuously, but I came down here 3 times and dug that. I do have some pond filters that I could rig something up again. I did that once. That seemed like it was catching at least something. Okay, so everything else is picked up. I rolled all the hoses and pumps and everything, put them all away. I didn't push them quite as far back because we might get more rain. Oh, that bird keeps coming in here. So 2 hoses there. Oh, there's the other bird. I don't mind them being in here. Just one came out, almost hit me in the head earlier today, scared the crap out of me. So there's the 1 pump and the 2 little DC pumps. And yeah, I was realizing it after. The water heating coil is back there. That's almost a full 200 feet. I forgot it was back there. So I might pull that out next time, because with 200 feet, I could hit the black tank from the bottom of the driveway. So the plan today, because I am just completely filthy, it's been a couple days since I took a shower, so now I know I've got lots of water. I'm going to plan on taking a shower, but I've also got all these trash cans and buckets out here. This is the water that we just got finished picking up. I'm going to use that for doing laundry, because it's just silty. It's not really awful. This is cleaner than my recycled water, all right? So why not use this instead? This will go into there. In fact, I put some water into that system from this already, trying to free up the trash cans. So when I'm done with it, I'll run it through the recycler and put it back in the tank, but this is adding more and more fresh water. My tank is 3/4 full now. So by putting in more fresh water every time, it's slowly getting cleaner. Cool. So yeah, I'm gonna just sit back here in the shade and do some laundry. Do it by hand in the buckets again. Why not? We got the water, so, and I'm out of underwear, so that was a good time. But first, breakfast, because it's 10:30 or something like that, and I have not eaten yet. I washed my hands in the buckets. That's better than it was. Beautiful day. So let's see, I'm figuring you only count water in the tank. Okay, so I added 40 gallons of drinking water. I've got up to 400 gallons in the main tank, so let me make a note of that. Oh, I can switch my battery back. I can run on the lithium now I've got. So let's see. I'm going to say I'll just say June because it's the first tomorrow. So I had wrote down 300. That's what my neighbor brought, so I'm going to just write down 400 now. And 140 for drinking. Cool. Yeah, an extra 40 gallons of drinkable water. That's pretty awesome. Okay. I'm going to switch the battery over. I'm taking a break. Breakfast time. Okay, I want to see if I can get these numbers right. So all 6 trash cans are basically full, so let's just say 30 each. That's a pretty good average. So that's 180 gallons there. I put 40 in drinking. So probably another 140 went into the tank, rough numbers. I measured 18 inches of water. 18 divided by 8 times 200. Okay, so 450. That's about right. So I got 450 in the main tank and 140 of drinking water. Plus 350 gallons in hot tub from puddle. I'm going to say another 200 gallons in the hole. Based on when I pumped the hole into the tank, how far it came up. Close enough. Okay. So when that settles out, if I pump it all into the main tank, now all I can count is the 350 in the hot tub, the black tank. What's in the other hole will probably sink in and evaporate. Now the water in the hot tub is also going to evaporate. Ah, God love solar power when you can run your microwave. Life is good, man. Okay, so if I look at it that way, 450 gallons in the main tank. Yeah, I'm about a third of the way full, roughly. Okay. And then if I can take that other 450 in the tank plus 350 in the hot tub, that'll be 800 gallons. That'll be half full. Now, if I'm mixing questionable kind of dirty water on top of the 350 gallons that the neighbor brought me, which is chlorinated clean water, that'll average it out, plus the chlorine that I'm putting in now in the hot tub, plus the chlorine that was in the town water, that should help. It's not going to be perfect, but it'll help. I don't want to over-chlorinate out there because I've done that a couple times. You get it, it's like, oh man, you're like, you got to run it through the Brita 4 times before you can drink it, kind of thing. But it's still water, right? And since my drinking water is separate now, that makes that a lot easier. Also, this shirt is just trash. This was a clean shirt today, and I just completely trashed it because anytime you're picking up the hoses and the cords, it all just gets all over you. Okay, so yeah, 450 in the main tank and 140 of drinking water plus 350 here, plus probably at least another 100 gallons that I can get. And the water that's in the hot tub won't soak in, but it'll still evaporate. But I'm wondering, does it make sense to try filtering water now through pond filter to get it cleaner? It would be funny to sand filter water that's got sand sediment in it already. The thing is, though, if I did sand filter that, which I don't have a setup for that right now because I don't want to run it through the laundry water. That's the thing. I've got so much laundry water. Yeah, I don't need more laundry water. I've got more than I need. It doesn't hurt me to let that sit. And I don't think this is monsoon yet. Monsoon shouldn't be for another month, but we're getting some early rain from a storm. So I think, based on what I see, I got more than an inch of rain. And it was a gradual enough rain that it saturated the ground to the point that it was running across the ground. If it's not enough, it'll just soak in. But once it gets to a point, the ground can only absorb so much, and then it starts running. And we got areas out there where it was running. That's why it filled up those 2 holes. It ran into the holes. So more than an inch, probably. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Oh, I forgot. That 5-gallon bucket that's on the turtle garage is completely full. That's clean water. I could drink that water. Yeah, I just wanted to sit still for a minute and think about the numbers a little bit. How much do I got? So if I got 400 gallons in the main tank and I'm not drinking that, that's huge. And 140 gallons of drinking water. I'm probably drinking a gallon a day now that it's getting hot, between coffee and lemonade and just drinking water. It seems like I'm filling up a water pitcher once a day. That's a gallon. And then I filter it from that. 3 or 4 months worth of drinking water. Plus, if it comes to that, 1, I could always talk to my neighbors. 2, what's in the main tank is pretty clean. So as it settles, it gets cleaner. I could then triple filter it. And I've got a water distiller that I could take pretty dirty water and distill it and make it cleaner. It takes a lot of power and time. But I could probably now, with all of the solar panels, I haven't done it lately, I could probably make a gallon of drinking water a day with the distiller. So, if you distill it and then run it through the Brita, I noticed the last time I distilled some pretty dirty water, it still had a smell to it, but it was much cleaner smelling than the water that I started with. And after thinking about it, there's a little charcoal pack that they give you that the water coming out of the distiller goes through this little charcoal pack, and it's just tiny. I'm like, that's kind of useless. I didn't even use it. But thinking about it after the fact, if I would have taken that water, let it cool, and then run it through the Brita charcoal pack would have absorbed the taste. I think that would have been pretty clean then. Plus you could boil it. Well, distilling it is basically better than boiling it. So That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's huge. I mean, that is just, and this is the first time I've really been able to catch that much water off the ground. You know, so it's like I've got off of the roof, off of the shop is drinkable. Off of the rest of the roofs is kind of dirty, but goes into the tank. And now if it doesn't rain for the next couple of days, whatever water I got out there, I can let settle, and that'll go to the main tank. If it does rain again, I should look at that. Are we expecting any more rain? Because it seemed like this next week could get more rain. I didn't expect that much, that's for sure. Pretty nice surprise. This is Monday, last day of, I lose track of days, doesn't matter. Last day of May. Yeah, I woke up about 2 o'clock in the morning, and from 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock, I wasn't sleeping very good. It rained really hard for a few times, and then it would slow down, and you're like, you know, because that's the thing, you'll get a hard rain for about 2 minutes, and then it'll stop. But I could hear it off and on for an hour. So it would speed up and slow down, but you don't always get a good rain like that out here. There's a tropical depression off of Mexico on the other side. That sometimes comes this way, because of the jet stream, it'll blow it all the way across. We'll get that sometimes. Tomorrow, 37% chance of rain. Wednesday, 24%. Thursday, 24%. Friday, 24%. Today was about 20% also, so we could get some more rain. That's awesome. Okay, good. So at this point, I'm going to leave the water that's in the hot tub in the hot tub. I'm going to focus on the next rain, getting it all into the main tank. So any clean water will go into drinking water. I'm at 140 now, so I could only put about another 50 or 60 gallons in drinking water, and then that would be full. That's all right. So yeah, if we get rain the next few days, that's awesome. And this is not really monsoon. Monsoon shouldn't be till like July, I think. Bonus. Heck yeah. Man, that'd be a nice day to fill up that tank. Last year was the drought. That was a good year to decide I was going to sell my truck and not haul drinking water. But even without the water that the neighbor gave me, I had not ran out yet. It was close, but still, thank you. Almost lunchtime. Let's eat breakfast. Good thinking. When you have water, do not fart around. Get that water into the tank. It's like a bird in the bush or whatever. I don't count it until it's in the tank. You know, I have had cows wander through here and knock over my rain barrels. Right? So there's 50 gallons that you lost or whatever. So now it's in the tank. That's pretty safe. What I have down here, I can pump to the tank later. The longer I wait, the cleaner it is. Cool.